Welcome, everybody. This is the Zen Wave Analysis. That's how I call it. Um, it's a trend and a wave analysis, a little bit different from the Elliott Wave Analysis. It is too complicated for me. I don't count the trends. I only look at the trend itself and the waves themselves. So this is how I analyze the market. And let's check out the biggest markets. These are the ones uh, that I cover. Okay, I'm not sure we will cover every market. If you had a chart request, please let me know. I'm curious about new charts. But let's see the DAX first, the German index. We have a long trend in place, and we have on the monthly also a long trend, and we have the monthly start of the impulse here. So as long as this impulse is not taken back by the sellers, we are in a long trend. Every move down is only a correction of this last impulse up. Okay, this is the trend line. This trend line breaks around here, so here we have troubles. But right now we are in a long trend, and a lot of people say that or think that it's gonna fall very soon, and it can happen. Right now, what I can tell from the chart is that this last corrections target Fibo system is here. The monthly and the weekly 138.2 level is here. So this is the zone where the price is heading in the longer term. And if we go, and this is the start of the last impulse up. Actually, this is the low. So if we make it a little bit bigger, actually this was the last impulse. But since this is very close to this last impulse, I usually in these cases I mark this level as the weekly trend, the pivot line. The break of the weekly trend is here, but if it breaks something like this with a wave change, breaking this level here, then we only go to the counter trend of this monthly impulse. Okay, so in this case, we can visit some places like this. And we have some here on the daily that has never been tested, but it's not there yet. So this is the border of the weekly long trend that is heading towards this monthly target and this weekly target over here. If we take a look at the daily, we can see that on the daily we have a counter trend here. And from this counter trend, from closing price to closing price, I drew a target Fibonacci. This is the 138.2. The 161.8 is here. So this is the other daily counter trends target Fibo. So that's why I deleted it, because it's exactly here. And yeah, on the daily we are heading towards this level, and we have the last impulse from here. So this is the break of the daily trend here, and the below this level. For example, if the market comes like this, then we enter into the counter trend of the weekly impulse. Okay, if we go down, because we have to go down because we have a long trend in place, and this is the daily start of the impulse. We have a 4-hour counter trend, and we had one wave up breaking above the high, and then immediately a counter trend was forming. And right now, if we have a new high here, then on the 4-hour we are back in the long trend as well. So on the 4-hour, this is the long impulse, but we are in the short counter trend now in place, because the waves are heading south, And of course, we had a like a 1, 2, 3 here because this candle was not so significant. We have a 1, 2, 3 already, but it would be nice to see a higher high, higher low, higher high structure. And it is exactly at the same place as the 4-hour target Fibos 61.8 level. And this is the place where the expansion phase can begin. And from here, the 4-hour target zone is easily reached, and it's very close to the daily 138.2, which was not reached exactly. It was only very close to this zone. So if the 4-hour closes above this level, then we have a 1, 2, 3 on the 4-hour. That's a very strong signal for the long side, and from here to here, it's a nice area. So this zone is a nice area to trade on the DAX. And if this will be the case, the 4-hour, the begin or the start of the 4-hour impulse comes to here. And if the market does something like this, that's only a correction. That's the second round of the correction, and the break of this counter trend also points to this zone. So here, still waiting for a confirmation on a 4-hour to say that it's in the expansion phase in the long trend, and then we can as day traders we can go in an easy box or easy zone to go long for the target zones. The next one is the Nasdaq. I have a question. The gold. Okay, let's see the gold first. Let's see the gold. Right now, the gold is just one sec. I will make it disappear. I guess it's okay. On the gold, what we can see on the monthly chart, I start with the weekly usually, but now I take a look at the monthly because it was closing just recently. So this is the start of the last impulse on the monthly, and we are in a long trend. These are some monthly levels that the price may retest. So these levels has not been tested in the long run on the monthly chart. So this level can be retested. If we switch to the weekly, we can see that we also have a weekly impulse up in the long trend. We have the last impulse here because this impulse couldn't go to new high. So this was the last high, and it started from here. So that's why this is the weekly trend. And and on the weekly, we have one impulse down, and then so to say, a triangle has been formed in the long trend. And we have a south breakout here on the weekly, and we have north breakouts here, here on the weekly. That is a zone that may stop the price or keep the price from falling. That's a nice support zone. But as I mentioned, we can easily see these targets as long as this counter trend is in place. And we can, if we go to the daily, we can see this triangle on daily that has been broken here with one impulse. That couldn't go significantly higher than the previous start of the impulse here, because the counter trend's last impulse down was this. So right now, this is my this is the place. If the daily closes above this level, then our next target is here and here. So from here to here to here, it's a nice opportunity to go long on the gold. We have already the wave structure looking up. This wasn't significant, so even if it's higher than the previous high, because of the wick, it is not a significant breakout, but it couldn't go so far. It couldn't go to new low. So this is only the correction of this last impulse up, and we may see another impulse on the way. So we have long trends in the on the weekly, on the monthly, and on the daily. A sideways market formed, and we can see that this is a neutral zone for me. I'm waiting for the market to go higher and close here on the daily, and then every counter trend on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, and the break of this counter trend can take us to the next levels, and we may see a nice move to the target zone. Usually I don't go further down on the time frames in a zone like this because it's neutral. But yesterday we had a nice candle showing that, indicating that maybe we will see a rise in the price today. And if we take a look at this 4 hour chart, we can see that we are in a neutral zone. On the 4 hour, there was a wave structure up, then wave structure down with a huge wick here. And we have a counter move of this impulse down, and then again a correction of this. So this impulse. So the space is very narrow here. It's very difficult to tell you where the price is heading. But we have a 4 hour starting point here. Okay, I will move this to here, and if you see something like this on the 4 hour, then this counter trend breaks, and from here to this level first, and then to, if the 4 hour wave structure holds, then we can check out this level later. And we have a 4 hour south breakout that hasn't been tested, so this area is likely to be tested again. Okay, at this run min FX, but if I look at the time frame, 4 hour price can go down because of mother candle break at 4 hour. Yes, so it's yeah. Also, it's possible because we have the wave structure down on the 4 hour, and we have a correction of this this wave down. It's possible that the market breaks this counter trend and goes down and visit the lower level of this neutral zone. But this is why at the, at the middle of this neutral zone, it's like 50-50 for me. And every trader should decide if he wants to participate in a 50-50 situation or not. I think right now in the oil and the U.S. stock indices, it's much better opportunities. But of course, everyone should decide for themselves. For me, right now, it's 50-50. It may do something like this. And if we take a look at the 1 hour, we can see that on the 1 hour, we have a huge impulse up. And this looks like the counter trend of this impulse. In cases like this, so this counter trend line can be drawn. In cases like this, when there is only a huge impulse on the 1 hour, I go down to the 15-minute. And on the 15-minute, I see a North breakout that hasn't been tested. So this level is a level where if the price breaks below this, we can see further decline in the price. But until this reaches, it can be a rough ride here. So it's for me, it's a no-go. But if we draw, and this helps, I think, if we draw a target Fibonacci on the 1 hour, let's make it a 1 hour target Fibonacci. We can see that the target Fibonacci that I draw from closing price to closing price on the correction, and I draw it when the wave structure changes. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. So the wave structure has changed. So now I can draw it. And this is the level which is very close to the counter trend line. This is the level where the price may speed up and go for the target level. That is the 138.2 and the 161.8. So we can see this level below this. Okay, so for shorts, this is my area for short day trading in the neutral zone. So not a huge opportunity. And if you check out the M15, we can see that it's very close to this North breakout. So this zone, we can see something like this, very slow, and then a turn here again pushes it back to the neutral zone. So below this area, there's an opportunity to trade and target this zone on the gold. The 161.8 is the target level for me, not the 138.2, but only from here. Okay, so this for going short this area, and I repeat, this is the neutral zone on the higher time frame, so it's not the best opportunity to trade. Okay, thanks for asking, by the way. Okay, so if we just take a look at the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq, so that's different from the gold because it's in the expansion phase on the monthly, reaching targets, new all-time high, reaching target levels on the monthly target zone. Also here on the weekly, we can see that we have the last start of the impulse here. So it's long in the expansion phase. Every time frame shows long. Okay, just one more question. M15 setup, RBS for price going up. And the gold, you mean, Radim? In the gold, M15. Yeah, I don't go to these time frames when there is no clear picture on the higher time frames. So for me, I stop at the daily right now. So I don't go to M15. I wait for this close, and then we can see 1, 2, 3 above the recent start of the impulse, and of course we can draw the daily target Fibo here and check out the 61.8. It's very close to this weekly level, to this daily level. So this zone is right now where I think they will decide. If on the 4 hour we see already waves going up, here it can get some speed and go for the target. Okay, so this is a zone where I switch down as long as the daily is here. I don't that market is an X for me. I don't trade this market, but of course there are opportunities for day traders and the gold as well. So this is a tough area right now. Okay, if you have any other questions, just let me know. But if we check out the Nasdaq on the daily, on the weekly, long, we are above this 123.6. That is an intermediate target level because the market is at all-time highs. So in these cases, it's very difficult to find targets. So in these cases, I draw the target Fibo at 113. 0.2 and the 123.6. We have passed the 113.2. So because you said gold, okay, that's I mean that can happen. That can be a good trade. I'm sorry, just I had another chat. That can happen right now. The 1 hour, the last valid trend is short on the 1 hour. So we may see a fall in the gold today. I just say that it's, for me, it's not the area I want to trade. Okay, so let's go back to the NASDAQ and go back to the daily. We have a huge impulse. And in these impulses, a lot of traders like to go short and like to, for example, I'm in a group, in a Telegram channel where one guy just told yesterday or the day before, I don't know, that he trusts a short trade that he opened here. He opened the short trade here, I think at the highest tick. But if he doesn't close around here, or at least when this turn happened here, then he went into trouble here, because the trend is a huge long trend. If I go back to the Nasdaq, we can see a huge long trend, and of course anything can happen. So from this place, the market can do this. Of course, it can do this. It's not highly likely, and we are working with probabilities as traders, and the probabilities show that if every time frame is long, then it's gonna go, and we still have this weekly 130 or this monthly 138.2 ahead of us. So this is our long-term target. As long as the wave structure holds, we are heading towards this target. And if we check out, so we can see that on the daily we have the last impulse here. And if we check out the 4 hour chart, I move my 4 hour trend to here. We've passed the 4 hour corrections, target FIBO 138.2, and we are heading towards the 61.8. And for example, we have a counter trend here. And if we take a look at, you see this very short counter trend. In markets like these, where every time frame shows long, every time frame shows long, there are a lot of corrections like this, very short-term corrections. And if you take a look at this, we have a south breakout, which held the price, and we have a 1, 2, 3. So from this candle on, we have easily reached this target, this 4 hour target FIBO. So this is a nice trade for a day trader, that when it closes around here, a very short-term counter trend, even on the M5, M1 we can trade that, because every time frame shows long, and it's a very fast reach. It's like 30 minutes and you are in target, and very good risk to reward ratio. So right now, every time frame shows long, the weekly, the monthly, the daily, the 4 hour, and we are heading towards the 4 hour target FIBO 161.8 and the 200 level. Of course, it can be reached even today. Price now too high. Yeah, exactly. It's that's too high, too low. You never know. Yeah. This is the point, Ranmin. Traders usually analyze the market that it's too high, but too high compared to what? Because it was too high. It was too high already here. It was too high here. Huge impulse on the weekly. Too high here. And if you started to short this market here and fight the trend, then you're going to be in trouble. That's a different story when the last weekly impulse was broken here. So right now the trend is not turned. But here, when we have a 1, 2, 3, so that's why I showed you in the beginning of the stream, I'm looking for this. Here we can see that we have a 1, 2, 3, and from this candle on, from this moment on, the weekly counter trend was in place. Okay, so from this moment on, we could short the market all the way down. But again, here we had a start of the impulse. We already had the waves up on the weekly, bumping into this impulse. Okay, and then another counter trend and trigger candle close up. And from here, we had a huge, huge run. So, but this is only the weekly chart. I consider the daily as my main chart. I just want to know where the weekly levels are, and the weekly trend is long or short. And again, the trend doesn't turn only with a wave change. So if there is a trend and we say a wave change here, this is the starting point of the trend. Until this point, it's only the correction of this impulse. So I'm looking for longs. But if it breaks below and already the wave structure looks something like this, from here we're gonna check out the North breakouts on the way up, maybe in the smaller time frames, and I target these levels that are here. And when the whole impulse turns, then we have a change in the trend, and then we can go short. Okay, so the Nasdaq looks something like this. We are heading towards this level right now. In the long term, of course, we will have a lot of counter trends on the 4 hour that we can use to grab hold of the market and to to grab the long side of the market. I don't recommend shorting this market because it's long in every time frames. Here you can see the S&P 500 and this is a beautiful example of how to trade the counter trend. We have a counter trend line here, and we have a counter trend line here on the 1 hour. So this is also closing prices, but on the 1 hour. And we have a south breakout here. We have a wave structure looking south, but this is the 4 hour start of the impulse. We have a wave structure south, and we have a wave structure change up, going above this south breakout and breaking the counter trend line. So we should see both, not only the wave change and going above the previous south breakout, but we want to see also a counter trend break as well. If I draw the counter trend on the 4 hour, it's also broken here. The 1 hour break is here, and you see this wick. A lot of people, I think, shorted the market here, but they were tricked. The market came back and going for the target zones of this 4 hour target, the 4 hour correction. But we have another one here. This is also a counter trend. The highest close, the lowest close, we can draw that, but we are far beyond all the targets here. Right now, we are heading towards the 4 hour 200 level, and in the longer term, we are heading towards the weekly 123.6 and the daily 200. So right now, this is my midterm target zone. We may see the price, of course, still today. It's Friday, so can happen. But if not today, we can see moves like this, and slowly it reaches this target. Right now, I move my 4 hour trend here because this was the last start of the impulse where a new high was made. And we have the daily here in place. So we are in the expansion phase of the market. So that's why it's different from the gold. Similarly to the other US indices, we have a huge long trend on the Dow Jones as well, and we are heading towards this monthly 130, 38.2 level here. We have a weekly impulse, a daily impulse that started from here because we had a new high, so I have to move it. And the market is heading towards the target. If we check out the 4-hour, we can see that the 4-hour trend that's beautiful because I'm sorry, just I put it back. Uh, put it back because here we had one impulse wave change closing below this start of the 4-hour impulse, but it doesn't mean that the trend has changed because the daily was not here. But let me put it back quickly because the daily was fuck, man, because the daily was here. So right now on the 4-hour, a break below the 4-hour start of the impulse only means that we are in the counter zone, counter trend of the daily impulse. This is the daily impulse, and we are at the counter zone of the daily impulse. This is a nice 4-hour North breakout that was tested. So right now, if there is a change, and here is the change in the wave structure, going above this approximate 61.8, and there is a 1-hour south breakout here with a wave change, we are already going down. And right now I will remove my 4-hour trend. As long as this 4-hour start of the impulse is not broken, we may see a counter trend on the 15-minute, 5-minute, 1 hour chart. And if this is broken, we can go long. And just let me show you a beautiful example of what I look for in the market. We have already all the time frames showing long here, and this was a beautiful impulse on the 4-hour and a beautiful counter trend on the 4-hour. We can see a break out of the counter trend. We have the counter trend line here. There was a beautiful candle breaking out of this, but only one move, one wave up, and then a correction of this new low and another high, and we have a confirmation here because here is the wave structure changed here, 1 2 3 above the counter trend line. So from here it's a nice opportunity to go long. So that's why it's we should wait out the counter trend break, and we should wait for a wave change on the 4-hour. Then we can go down to lower time frames, and all the counter trends on the lower time frames can be traded. So for the day trader, these opportunities are the best because every time frame shows long, and we are in the expansion phase on every time frame, and this is what I look for: 1 2 3. Okay, and if we have it even here, a counter trend on M15, M5, and bam, and go, and then another counter trend, then another counter trend, then another counter trend. But in these cases, I'm not on the 4-hour chart. I go down to the 1-hour, but I don't go down to the 1-hour on the gold because I'm still waiting for the confirmation on the daily. Okay, so right now the price is heading towards the target, the long-term target. And we may see counter trends like this on the 4-hour break and go, counter trend break and go. Okay, let's see the euro US dollar. It's an interesting market right now, and if we take a look at the weekly, let's take a look at the monthly. On the monthly, we can see a short trend impulse, start of the impulse here, a huge impulse here. Right now, we are in the counter trend, the correction of this impulse, and this correction came all the way up to the 61.8 level. It doesn't mean it won't go further though, because we still have the monthly start of the impulse here. This is the last start where it went to new high, and we are in the correction of this last impulse. Will make it a little bit higher. The correction of this last impulse. Okay. If we draw a correction Fibo, target Fibo to these 2 points, we can see the 61.8 here. So for me, very good opportunities in the short side comes from here. This area, we may see the price falling like a knife, in my opinion. But we still have the long trend on the monthly and also on the weekly on the Euro USD. After yesterday's NFP data, just one sec, I will take a sip of water. So after last week's NFP data, I think a lot of traders thought that from now on the dollar will be strengthening and the Euro USD will go like this. But if we take a look at the weekly, we see two things. First of all, we have a wave structure that shows a long trend. That's a valid long trend. And we have the starting point of the long trend here. Right now, the market is testing this level. Okay. And also, we have very close to this level, we have a weekly north breakout that can act as a support. And we have a so-called diamond formation on the weekly because we had a new high here and then a new low here. So that's a diamond formation, and it activates when the market goes back inside the diamond. And these are the borders of the diamond. So when it goes back in the diamond, that's a neutral zone on the weekly. Of course, for day traders, it's a little bit different. So for day traders, there were a lot of opportunities on the short side recently. But on the weekly, we are in a neutral zone. And right now, we are in the neutral zone in a weekly long trend, weekly, monthly long trend. That is the counter trend of the huge mega trends last south impulse. I don't know if you can follow me. But on the daily, we have a short trend in place. That's a beautiful short trend. This is the counter trend of this weekly impulse. And right now we are at the starting point of this weekly impulse. So this is a place where for day traders, I think it's a no-go. Maybe for swing traders, yes, but for day traders, it's a no-go because the price can do some crazy stuff here until they decide if the market will close below this level on the daily or it will print a huge wick here on the weekly and we start to go up. We have also a south breakout on the daily and the last impulse here, or the previous impulse here. Okay. So right now, if we take a look at the 4-hour charts, we can see that this was the last impulse here. But from this point, the market took back. This point, it was a warning that maybe the counter trend of this last impulse on the daily may begin. Since the market couldn't immediately go back to the short trend on the 4-hour, instead it printed with a wave change, a long trend. It doesn't matter that a huge candle broke below this because there is no wave change for me. Okay. So if it will look something like this, from here, it's a nice opportunity to this level. This area is good for day traders, but remember, this is also a support. This is the low end of the diamond, which may push the price back into this neutral zone on the weekly. So right now we have the 4-hour trend line here, and if it breaks below, we will have a 1, 2, 3 on the 4-hour, confirming the the daily short trend, and from here to the 4-hour target, 4-hour target zone, that is exactly at this lower end of the diamond, weekly diamond. It's reachable. And of course, the counter trend breaks here. We have a 4-hour counter trend line as well. This is a short counter trend line. Just let me do quickly I don't want to be shown. Don't want it to be shown on the daily and above. So the counter trend line breaks here, and if it prints a 4-hour close below, we will have a 1, 2, 3. Just let me make it a little bit bigger. So it will look like something like this. And from here to here, it's a nice opportunity for day traders, in my opinion. Of course, it printed a new low, but immediately the buyers took back this level. So that's when my trend line or 4-hour start of the trend stays here, and it's tested again here. And if it will look something like this on the 4-hour, going to a new high, then we have the wave structure back in the long counter trend of this daily impulse. And we may see the test of this 4-hour south breakout that hasn't been tested and the daily south breakout. So this right now, this is my target area from this move, and I'm looking for the 4-hour close above this. Then we will have a 1, 2, 3, 4-hour trend up, and from here to this area is a nice opportunity. But this is in the neutral zone, so it's not so clear picture. And I have a couple of friends that want to short this market, and I always remind them, even after a candle like this, don't go short, because we have this level here, we have the weekly trend here. So it's wait until the weekly closes below this level, and that's a totally different story. From there, we can go here, and if this is broken on the weekly, we can have a huge short opportunity. But the best shorting opportunity comes from the monthly 61.8 level. If you remember from my analysis, it is here. So if this changes from here to here, it's a huge space. It's a huge space. So this will be the best. And of course, it can happen that the daily turns, test this area, and then cannot go to new low, comes up and breaks above this level, this daily trend. If we will have waves up on the daily and the close above this area, then we can see a test of these levels here. So from here to here, it's easy also for day traders, although it's the neutral zone on the weekly. Okay, let's see the US oil, because it's also very interesting in my opinion. Here also we have a short trend in place on the weekly, but already it developed 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. So right now, what is valid on the weekly counter trend is valid. From this point on, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the counter trend of this impulse on the weekly. It's valid. And even though we had a close below this start of the impulse, it's again, there's no wave change. If we see a wave change, then we can go to this level. But since it came back immediately, and most probably this week will close above this zone, okay? So most probably, we cannot say for sure, but most probably it will close above this level. Then this weekly counter trend is still valid because we don't have a 1, 2, 3, okay? And if we go below, sorry, just switch back, and we still have 1, 2 weekly levels that haven't been tested. So right now the market is heading towards this level, these levels, and this is the weekly counters 61.8 level, where the market may speed up and go for this target. So from here, I think we're going to be in trouble because the oil's weekly target will become valid. Okay, so right now my targets are here, but above this level, my target will be here. So this is also a huge space, an expansion phase where the market may speed up and reach this target very quickly. Of course, quickly on the weekly, so it's not so quick. So we have time. Okay, if we go down to the daily, we can see on the daily that on the weekly long trend, we have a 1, 2, 3 on the daily. That is a counter trend on the daily, and we have a last a south breakout here. So if the market goes and breaks this level, we are back in the long trend on the daily. Until this level, it's only the correction of the correction, so-called. So this is the impulse in the primary. So remember, the primary weekly trend is long. This is an impulse on the daily. This is a correction on the daily right now, valid. And this is the correction of the correction. So this is not a good area. This is a better area, okay, to go long, and these levels can be reached, but only above this daily south breakout. If the daily manages to close significantly above this zone from here to here to here, it's a nice opportunity. Right now it's heading towards this level. Maybe we can see the market reach this level sooner or later because we are already above this 4-hour south breakout zone. And the reason I drew this long line here is the following. We already have the correction of the correction on the 4-hour valid. That's a valid trend on the 4-hour, long trend. Okay. And this long trend is heading towards this area. So from this point on, from this candle on, we have 1, 2, 3 on the 4-hour. From this point on, we have this target. Okay. And with this candle, it closed significantly above this 4-hour south breakout. So that's when I go down to lower time frames, okay, from the next candle, and look for the counter trends on the smaller time frames. And we have a counter move on the 1-hour, a south breakout on the 1-hour. So if the market takes back this south breakout and it goes to a new high here, From here, this area is the target. Okay, because the 4-hour trend is long. We are in the correction of the correction, but we have a lot of space. So because of this huge space, nothing in between, that's a good opportunity from this candle on. Okay, so that's a good day trading opportunity. If I move my 4-hour trend here, because here the market printed the new high. So let me pull it down. Now we have the 4-hour pivot here. If it goes below with a wave change, then we enter into the counter trend of this last impulse. Okay. But if it manages to stay above, we are on the 1-hour right now. And on the 1-hour, we have a new high, a counter move. So we go down to the 15-minute. And right now, this is the last south breakout. This is the last start of the impulse. And this is the counter trend on the M15. So if it prints something like this very soon, then we have this target, okay? Which is the daily south breakout, remember. So right now, if I draw it like this, so now I arrived at the 15-minute time frame. And this is a long counter trend that I don't want to be seen on the hours, days, weeks, and months chart. And here we have a south breakout that I also don't want to be seen on the hours and the days. And we have a start of the impulse here. So if we have a signal, we already have on the 15, that's by itself a buy signal. A significant candle on the M15 above the previous south breakout. But would be nice to see something like this, a wave change above the whole zone, and from here to here, it's a day trading opportunity. Okay, we have some intermediate target on the M15. This is an intermediate target zone. So we may see something like this. And here it's managed position. So if it falls back, I just quit. But this target zone is very easily reachable today. Okay, so that was my analysis. I don't know if you have any questions or want to send me to Hal or want to say that I'm stupid or anything else. I hope it was easy to understand. But be careful because this is a huge impulse and it's the counter trend, the correction of the correction, and it's very close to the target. So also this is not a great opportunity. I think great opportunities are here right now in the US indices. So if you have any questions, just ping me on TradingView. Hope to see you in another stream maybe in the future. And I hope you enjoyed it and have a great trading day ahead and on the next week. See you soon. Bye.